Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and felt how quiet it all is? I mean, really felt it. You've got billions of galaxies, trillions and trillions of stars out there, and from all of that cosmic noise, we get nothing. Just silence. And honestly, it's one of the biggest and most profound mysteries we've ever faced.
It all boils down to a super simple question that the physicist Enrico Fermi supposedly asked way back in 1950. It's a question that has haunted scientists and thinkers ever since. With a universe this huge, you'd think the odds would mean life is everywhere. So, where is everybody?
So let's really break this down. It's called the Fermi Paradox, and it's a real head-scratcher. On one side of the scale, you got just insane odds. Hundreds of billions of stars right here in our own galaxy, many with planets that probably look a lot like Earth. Probability-wise, life should be popping up all over the place. But then, on the other side of the scale, you have our reality. 0 confirmed signals, 0 little green men, absolutely 0 hard evidence. It's this massive cosmic contradiction.
Now, to try and solve this thing, scientists came up with this really cool, kind of scary idea called the Great Filter. The theory goes that there's some obstacle, some evolutionary wall that is just incredibly difficult for life to get past. Now, this filter could be in our past, which would mean, hey, we're one of the lucky ones who made it through, or, and this is the ominous part, it could still be waiting for us up ahead. So today, we're going to dig into 2 really radical new theories about what that great filter might actually be.
Okay, first up, we've got a really chilling possibility. This one was proposed in a recent paper by a researcher named Darren Dugan, and it suggests that the filter isn't some giant asteroid or a killer supernova. No, it's something that comes from within us. The core idea here is, what if, once a species gets smart enough to conquer its home planet, control diseases, get rid of all its natural predators, a whole new game starts. It's not about survival of the fittest anymore. It's about conscious, individual choices. And what if those choices, across the board for any intelligent species, inevitably lead them to just stop having enough kids to go on?
The key number to understand here is something called the total fertility rate, or TFR. All it is the average number of kids a woman has. And for a population to stay stable, not grow, not shrink, just stay the same, that number needs to be 2.1. Why 2.1? Well, you need 2 kids to replace the 2 parents, and that extra 0.1 is to make up for people who don't have kids or who die young. So 2.1 is the magic number. You fall below that, and your society starts to shrink.
And this isn't some abstract hypothetical problem. It is happening to humanity right now. Take a look at this. In 1963, the worldwide average was over 5 children per woman. 5. Today, that number has been slashed by more than half. It is without a doubt one of the most sudden and dramatic demographic shifts in all of human history.
This chart right here, this shows the tipping point. According to the projections, we are living in the exact moment where the global TFR dips below that critical 2.1 replacement level, and the scary part? It's not expected to ever go back up. As a species, we are literally entering an age of permanent population decline.
So yeah, it all comes back to this one number, 2.1. It is the razor's edge between growth and decline, between a future filled with people and, well, one that gets a lot emptier. And the data shows, once a society crosses below that line, getting back above it has proven to be almost impossible.
So why is this happening? Well, the reasons are complicated, but what's really fascinating is that they seem to be a universal feature of any advanced society. As people get more educated, as they get more prosperous, let's call it the opportunity cost of having children just skyrockets. Contraception gives people total control, and when you factor in worries about money and the state of the world, smaller families just start to seem like the most rational choice. And this isn't about any one culture. It's happening everywhere, from Tokyo to Toronto.
The paper frames this as the ultimate tragedy of the commons. You know the idea. If you have a shared pasture, it's in every individual farmer's best interest to let their own cows eat as much as possible. But when every farmer does that, the pasture gets destroyed for everybody. Well, in this case, the shared resource we're all using up is the next generation itself, and it could lead to the extinction of our entire species.
The models that are based on this trend, they're pretty stark. Let's look at 2 of them. On the left, you see what happens if the global TFR settles around 1.35, which is where a lot of developed countries are today. Our population just kind of dwindles away over the next 1,000 years or so. But on the right, that's a more extreme but totally plausible scenario where the TFR drops to 0.6, like in modern South Korea. That model shows a complete societal collapse and extinction in just 500 years.
But here's the real kicker. This theory isn't just about us. It's arguing that these exact same forces, intelligence, prosperity, individual freedom, would kick in for any species that gets to our level. They'd conquer their planet, achieve greatness, and then, rationally and individually, they'd choose to just fade away. The universe isn't silent because of some big disaster. It's silent because any civilization smart enough to send a signal is also smart enough to, well, stop having kids. The party just ends itself.
Okay, but that's just one possibility. A pretty grim one, for sure. So let's shift gears and explore a totally different idea, and this one, frankly, is a real mind-bender. It comes from a paper by Valentina Navov and his colleagues.
This theory asks us to flip the whole problem on its head. What if we're not hearing from anyone because we're, listening for the wrong kind of signal? Maybe the most advanced civilizations out there aren't loud and obvious. Maybe they're quiet and completely invisible to us.
For decades, the way we've thought about advanced aliens has been shaped by the Kardashev scale. It's all about energy. A Type 1 civilization controls its planet's energy. A Type 2 controls its star. A Type 3 controls its entire galaxy. It's all about getting bigger and louder. But Ivanov says, what if that's totally wrong? What if true advancement isn't about power over your environment, but about integration with it? So Ivanov's scale has these 4 classes. Class 0 is basically animals, right? They just use nature as it is. We, humanity, are a Class 1 civilization. We don't adapt to the river, we build a dam. We change the world to fit our needs. But here's where it gets interesting. The next step, Class 2, is to stop changing the world and start changing ourselves, using things like genetic engineering to perfectly adapt to any environment. And the final step, Class 3, is where a civilization merges so completely with the universe that it becomes an indistinguishable part of it.
This chart really helps visualize the new model. The vertical axis is energy use. That's the old Kardashev scale. But the horizontal axis is this new idea, integration with nature. And what it shows is that a civilization can become incredibly advanced, moving way over to the right without getting any louder or using more energy. A species that masters biology and information might not need to build giant megastructures. It could be hyper-advanced, yet totally silent from an energy perspective.
And this all leads to a really powerful conclusion, kind of a twist on Arthur C. Clarke's famous law about technology and magic. It's that the most advanced life forms wouldn't look like technology to us at all. They would just look like physics. They would look like nature. I mean, we could be swimming in an ocean of cosmic intelligence right this second and be completely, utterly unable to recognize it. So there we have it. 2 profound, totally competing visions for why the universe seems so empty. Let's put them side by side for a final look.
So on one path, we have the great filter of depopulation. Intelligence leads to individual choices that, added up, quietly end the species. A sort of tragic, self-inflicted fading out. On the other path, we have transcendence. Intelligence leads to a deep wisdom, and a civilization chooses to integrate with the cosmos itself, becoming silent, efficient, and eternal.
Either one of these theories could explain the cosmic silence, and both of them really turn that huge cosmic question right back on us. As we stand here today, right on the edge of global population decline and at the dawn of technologies that could literally rewrite our own biology, we have to ask ourselves, which path are we on? Is our destiny to be the last chapter in our own story, or the first chapter of something we can't even imagine yet? The silence of the universe might just be waiting for our answer.